How do inflationary eras impact a country's economy? Imagine a time when prices for everyday items like bread, gas, and clothes keep climbing higher and higher. That's what happens during inflationary eras, and they can shake up a country's economy in many ways. When prices rise, the value of money drops, so people need more money to buy the same things. This means if your income stays the same, your purchasing power shrinks, and your standard of living can decline. For example, pensioners living on fixed incomes find it harder to cover their expenses, while people with loans at fixed rates might benefit because they pay back less valuable money. Looking back at history, the period from the mid-1960s to the early 1980s saw what is called the Great Inflation. During this time, inflation soared above 14%, causing economic instability. High inflation was mainly driven by too much money in circulation and poor monetary policies. This era led to rising unemployment and lower wages, making life tougher for many families. Inflation also hits workers the hardest because wages often don't keep pace with rising prices. When wages lag behind inflation, workers have less real income, which means they can buy less with their paychecks. This especially affects low-income groups, making poverty and inequality worse. For businesses, inflation creates uncertainty about costs and profits. When prices are unpredictable, companies hesitate to invest in new equipment or hire more workers. This slowdown can reduce overall economic growth. Even moderate inflation can make it harder to plan for the future, as prices become less predictable. It also raises borrowing costs because lenders want higher interest rates to protect themselves from inflation. To fight inflation, governments and central banks often raise interest rates. Higher rates make borrowing more expensive, which can slow down economic activity. For example, recent efforts to control inflation involved increasing interest rates, which can make mortgages and business loans costlier. While these steps help stabilize prices, they can also lead to higher unemployment and slower growth in the short term. In the end, inflationary eras influence a country's economy by lowering real incomes, making investment riskier, increasing inequality, and complicating economic policies. While some inflation can be managed, sustained high inflation can cause serious economic problems. Understanding these effects helps policymakers find ways to keep prices stable while supporting growth.